Let the hunt begin. I will fight with honor.
1, 2 coin prismatic lens. What a curve. Wait, no, don't play that. That's big and kills my Tide Caller. If he's Face Hunter, I'm definitely gonna need my Tip the Scales to be playable on turn 4. So if he's Face Hunter, I really don't want to keep getting hit by this 2-1. And also I don't want to give him a potentially a playable card. Nice, got the Tip the Scales for turn 4. And I've seen 2 copies of this card, so he's not a Zephrys deck. I think we should be set up pretty well this game. Oh right, trading there gives me a board slot. Giving him a playable card here is probably not super relevant now that I'm so far ahead on board. So the card I'm afraid of here is Explosive Trap. Okay, he's dead. I didn't do the math, but I'm gonna assume that he's very dead here. Was it well played, or did I draw the one good card in my deck?
I must protect the wild. I will fight with honor.
Prismatic Lens. For me? Well, let's try to draw a curve. Tip the Scales is a bad draw, because it makes my first Prismatic Lens a lot less likely to hit something good. So the question with this hand is, like, do I play these cards on curve? There's like no way I play Toxfin on curve against Druid, right? Probably not Zephrys either. Probably just Hero Powering next turn. But Bluegill Warrior is reasonable. I could coin Nosdormu this game. There's no way that's better than going for a Prismatic Lens line, though.
Reporting for duty. To battle.
I hit Prismatic Lens, but it is only 1 mana. So... I've drawn all my 4 mana stuff, so there's actually still a pretty good chance I can tip the Scales next turn. It's gonna whiff 5 out of 15 times, I think. Oh, it whiffed. Okay, my lenses have not been great this game, but still turn 5 tip the Scales. He didn't hit a ramp card. Well, this is a ramp card, I guess. But he didn't hit... Oh, God. You know, I should have known that that was a possibility. Probably. Let's go Bluegill Warrior. I mean, it probably goes in here, right? Although if it goes in here, he is only able to make 2 trades instead of 3. So like I go in here, he goes bump, bump, Still have 4 Murlocs in play. My Zephyrus is not active. But still 4 Murlocs in play with a War Leader in hand. What if I go here? Then he's gonna go like bump, bump.
Move quickly.
I think I like this trade better. It's definitely not for sure though. Well, I got kind of fucked up here. So I think... Well, I don't necessarily have to Toxfin here. But otherwise I'm playing War Leader.
Let me
I think I'd probably rather burn a Toxfin than a War Leader here. Alright, so I can play a 10-10 Nozdormu. Or what else can I do?
let me think.
I don't really like the idea of ramping the opponent.
I must move quickly.
But like... I don't know, Flyfish, War Leader... Definitely don't love ramping the Embiggen deck. But it's a 10-10, and it ramps me into something pretty relevant.
I've got more left in me.
Okay, this could have gone way worse. I would really like for this 10 damage to go face. Is there a responsible way to do that? If I tip the scales, I'm hitting 5 Murlocs, none of which buff my bluegill. This 10 needs to go face. And I'm gonna hold on to the Toxfin for a more relevant play. Like, rather than just playing a 1-2 here. He didn't hit a taunt here. But he did kill my 10-10, which is very sad. Wait, what the fuck? I'm dying. How did this happen? Why am I dying? If I trade here, he's showing 18. What the fuck? Well, 2/3 of the time my Zephyrus is active next turn. Now, what is the perfect card? Wait, is it Master Spell? I have 12. No, Master Spell's lethal.
Your wish is my suggestion.
So the turn after I played, like the turn I forced the Nozdormu face, definitely could have been a tip the scales. But otherwise I think that game is pretty straightforward.
I will fight with honor.
I really want to find Prismatic Lens, but I'm probably supposed to keep a Tide Collar. I don't know, maybe against Rogue I can toss it, because, like, imagine playing 1 minion a turn against Rogue. It is the best 1-drop in my deck by quite a margin. But, I don't know. It's gonna get fucking backstabbed if I play it. Pretty sure you just don't ever win this matchup if you don't have Tip the Scales. I have a pretty good opener, though. Hopefully this tasty flyfish will buff the Amalgam and not the Scalelord. But even if it buffs the Scalelord, I mean, that does still come down relatively early. Hopefully I didn't give my opponent a play he wouldn't have otherwise had. I guess I could have led with the Flyfish instead of the Fish Flinger for that reason. Well, there's Tip the Scales, but it costs an absurd amount of mana. Seems good. I did buff the Amalgam. So next turn can be Amalgam Raider. But Raider plus Cold Light Seer also looks pretty good. I guess it depends on what he puts on the board this turn.
The future is clear. Your demise.
Shit, he can take my Tip the Scales and then pull all the Murlocs out of his deck? Wow, as a rogue he can even prep this out? Insane. The Cold Light Seer looks kinda garbage here. Probably gonna regret playing that, but we'll see. Is the stuff he ramps into better than Tip the Scales? Maybe. What the fuck is this? Really? I've given him 3 cards. There were 2 Murlocs that make more Murlocs and a Scalelord? Like, actually, though? Well, I got to play my Tip the Scales. My Finley is still not active because I need to find a Prismatic Lens. Draw 1? Mate.
Unity, precision, perfection.
I have 2, 3, 4 Murlocs in deck, and this is very likely to draw one of them. So Tip the Scales is probably not the play here. But I can do some cool Scalelord stuff, right? 2/2 weapon. It's definitely not the Shaman hero power. I could see either of the other two being very reasonable. I think I like the dagger, because it can hit him in the face.
Life and hope are worth fighting.
That's a relatively bad dragon. Oh, my own Dragon Queen. If I just play my own Dragon Queen, I can kill a Lackey and a 2/3. If I play these two Murlocs, I can kill his 8/8 and his 2/3. I'm not actually sure which one of these 3 health minions I'm more afraid of. Probably the 2/3. The 2/3 has more power, so like he needs to cast a spell with this just to even that up. Plus the spell damage scale is way better than this effect. So if I Prismatic Lens into the other tip the scales, I have 3 Murlocs, so that's very unexciting.
You are too late. His return is nigh.
Alright, let's go Dragon Queen. Wow. Oh, and an armor lackey, why not?
Life and hope are worth fighting.
Well, can't really complain about those.
I dream and the world trembles.
I think I just have to play this here because it's a 5/6. Even if I could potentially get quite a bit more value out of it. I can dream my Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. Assuming it lives, which it probably won't. But I don't know, it might. This Ysera could look a lot scarier to him.
On the wings of evil, darkness wanes.
Oh, he's going face. So I can value trade and then replay Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. Am I gonna die if I do that? Well, I mean, I'm probably gonna die no matter what I do. Like, if I die doing that, I'm gonna die regardless, so... Let's go for the insane play.
Life and hope are worth fighting.
So I can just play the Reaver on his 2/1. He'll only be showing 5. There's no way I'm desperate enough to play Deathwing here, right?
Your future is no more.
Deathwing is a really bad pickup. I think there's a pretty good chance I was dead if this was anything other than an Amber Watcher, though. Although I guess if he had, like, Leroy and Eviscerates and stuff, I probably would have just died last turn. So maybe I'll be okay here. The BM Eviscerate. Oh ho ho ho! This guy, he did a thing he didn't have to beat me. Such good BM.
Uther versus gPjBacI. You face gPjBacI. I will fight with honor.
None of these are Prismatic Lens. Oh shit, one of these is Prismatic Lens. That's sick. That's the optimal number. Actually, I guess 2 is probably better. But whatever. And I actually have a pretty good curve into it. Well, I say curve into it, like I'm not going to coin it out on turn 3. Warlock mostly just plays like Dark Skies as their board clear. I guess he could have the Nether, Crazy Netherwing, but it would be... No, I guess it would be like right on time for him. There's no way that I ever just don't play a minion here, right?
I can't do that.
Alright, 2 mana tip the scales. So, do I trade with a 3-1 or value trade with a 1-1? Probably value trade. Just give him fewer options against my tip the scales board. It was also better against this, I believe. He has a 4-1 instead of 2 2-1s. Ooh, I buffed the Nose Dormu, which is bad because I want to never play that card. Definitely not a great selection of Murlocs here. Looks like I'm not getting AoE'd though, which is quite good for me. I can land a Scalelord here, but it's kind of a weak Scalelord. Maybe I'll just go like Hero Power Cold Light Seer or something. It's not really a super good Cold Light Seer either. It's probably a good enough Scalelord. Like, the thing about Scalelord you have to keep in mind is it's also just a 5-mana 5/6. So, pretty much any amount of Divine Shields is fine, and I got 3 here. One of which lined up in a very relevant way on the Cold Light Seer. It also looks like at this point it's going to be pretty easy for me to activate my Highlander cards. The Finley is mostly unplayable, but I've got Dragon Queen Alexstrasza in hand. And after I go Lens into Tip the Scales, it should be pretty easy for me to find my Zephrys.
I will act as your skill.
Ooh, that's a Murloc War Leader. War Leader Cold Light Seer? I mean, the War Leader's not, like, super good into this board. But it's also pretty good. I think I'm fine to just go face here. He can double bump into the 3/5 and play a Crazed Netherwing, but I'm still showing a bunch of damage if he does that. Don't even know if double Dark Skies would clear here. Wow, that was a pretty miserable clear, but he did kill the most important one. Oh, that's just sad, though.
But your world is still doomed!
I ended up going 12-6 with this deck. which is maybe not too surprising since it's only a few changes away from a deck that already existed. But how were those changes? For one, I think Scalelord is a very powerful card and a definite inclusion in the deck. It's not the greatest with Prismatic Lens, but it's a strong enough card on its own, either with or without a Prismatic Lens draw, that I think it definitely makes the cut. The other changes, though, are a little bit sketchier. I think Skyfin is fine. It's one of your biggest Murlocs from Tip the Scales, and it's a nice board flooding card if you don't hit the Prismatic Lens draw. But like the Scalelord, it is a bit expensive if you hit it with Prismatic Lens. Like if you go Coin Lens and hit Tip the Scales Skyfin, you have like a dead turn in between, which is kind of awkward. But mostly I think the problem with the Skyfin is that you have to play dragons. Scalelord and Nightmare Amalgam are fine, but Nozdormu is just such a garbage card. No matter how many different kind of decks I try to put it in, the card is just trash. And then our other dragon is Dragon Queen Alexstrasza. I think in general she was pretty good, but then there was like that one game where I hit her with Prismatic Lens and lost the game because of it. So whether or not she's worth it, I would say is a bit of a toss-up. But if I wanted to continue playing Skyfin, I think I would cut these and probably just play like 2 Fairy Dragons or something. I think most of the other dragons are a bit expensive. Fairy Dragon is just fine to play on curve sometimes. But you could also just not play Fairy Dragons and not play Skyfins. I think you can still play Tasty Flyfish, because it turns out a 2-mana 2/2 Murloc is just kind of okay in this deck. And with 4 targets, it's probably alright. So at this point, we have 4 deck slots to fill. I think we can pretty easily just throw in a Sir Finley. I cut back a Cold Light Seer because I felt it was kind of redundant with Scalelord, but still probably want to play 2 copies of it. And then you can play Murloc Tastyfin. People used to play True Silver Champion in this deck. I could even see like 2 True Silvers instead of a Tastyfin. But you have some options. You could even just still play Dragon Queen Alexstrasza without the Skyfins. I think that's pretty reasonable. You could maybe even play like Lightforged Zealot, or perhaps Lightforged Crusader, on sort of the same kind of principle as the Highlander cards. A lot of options really, but for the most part I think you're just jamming 2 Scalelords and an old Murloc Paladin list.